The Secret Life of Mental Projectors. Let's dive deep into the mysterious, misunderstood world of the most complex design in the entire human design system. We are 3%. We are the only design to have no inner authority, with no clear guidelines as to how this authority operates. We are very complex. We need a lot of support. We need a lot of deconditioning. We need a lot of body work. We need a lot of training. We need a lot of study. We need a lot of time to understand who we are. We need to learn how to love ourselves first. No one is going to love you the way you need to love you, okay? So this is a brand new podcast I've created to share the wisdom, to support my fellow mental projectors rising into their power, rising into their role that they are here to play. Come 2027, we need to get ready now. Thank you so much for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing. Put that notification on so you can get the next episode. This is important work, and I want you to hear it so you can learn through studying the other who you truly are.
Hey, welcome. Hi. Today we are speaking with Freyiia from Denmark, who has a brand and who does all kinds of incredible work in the healing arts and the spiritual realms, called Inner Truth in English. Can you tell us what it is in Danish?
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thank you for being here. In Danish, it's called Indre Sandhed. Yeah, and as I just told you, it's actually meaning inner truth. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm.
So can you just present yourself to the people and just share a little bit about who you are? Who are you now? As we know, you are, I will share this, you're a 4/6 mental projector, and that's why we're talking, because I want to do some deep dives with other mental projectors. So can you just share a little picture of who you are now? I know you've been on a big journey, and I think we'll get deeper into that in the future, but just what are you doing now? Who are you now? What do we need to know about you?
Yeah. You know, it's a big question. Where are you now? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm right here. No, you know, I've been on a hell of a journey, as a lot of us have in these times. And right now I'm in the situation that my mother just died 6 months ago, and my father died like 7 years ago. So now I'm just getting used to not I'm the oldest woman in my lineage. I don't have anyone. I don't have a big family. So it's kind of new to me that I'm like, okay, I'm on my own now. I'm really on my own. My lineage is gone. And my journey being like a speaker, and you know, I've done a lot of education for many years, like all of us. And it started back then being a coach and a mentor, trying to get clients and all of that. But the cue, as I call it, from like the universe, or like a calling that was bigger, it came like in 2019, the year after my father died. And just before, you know, 2020, where everything happened in the world. And that was kind of like it. I don't know how to say it, but that was just like something clicked, and I started to speak out, and it was so difficult. And now, just fast forward, now I've been doing it for these 5-6 years, and I've created a actually kind of huge community in Denmark online. We call it in English the village. So it's like kind of an online village where I have, you know, like 3,500 profiles now for free. And then we have like an inner circle where people are paying a symbolic something to be close to me in my journey, and that's what I live up now. So yeah, and that back then it started with YouTube, and that was kind of like so scary. And it started with me doing these videos about, in astrology, but not it's kind of like the astrology is just the door in, and then what's going on. We have these aspects to every new moon and full moon, and then the aspects of kind of like deep dive into a kind of a subject to more deep spiritual inner work. So that's how it started. And now I do, I'm a shamanic breathwork facilitator. I do a lot of circle works where people come physically with me to dive deep and work. And what if I should try and, like, it's always difficult, but to shorten what is it that I do, I would say that I am, I'm a Scorpio moon.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of like, wow. I'm kind of like the one who can help people take everything that is unconscious in the dark and transform it to consciousness in the light. That's kind of like the shortest sentence I can do. But it is a hell of a ride. And, I think that when we do it and we say, okay, I will take this one, then it moves faster and faster and faster, and more expansions, like, oh my Lord. So much is going on in my private life and my own inner journey, and as within, so without. So everything I do in the outer world is just following along. So I don't know if that answers, but
it definitely does.
Yeah.
It definitely gives a sense of what you're doing and what's most important to you. And I love that, because you're aligned. We can go right to the 4-6. It's perfect that you have a community, an online community, because you need that network of people. You need those people to support each other and trust each other, and also be a role model. And so from what I observe, like seeing your YouTube and seeing the work that you do, you're really living what you're saying, you're teaching, and you're sharing, and that's so important. So I love that you have created that community. How was that process of creating the community online?
It's interesting because it's kind of like, it's kind of like I don't have a choice. The universe is nudging me. I'm like, no, get out there. It's always like a hot birth, and it's messy, and I have so much resistance. Oh my God, why me? And then I do it, But in the beginning, if we just go back, it was like I did these small videos on Facebook, and then I have this dear shamanic soul sister, and she was like, can you do it in YouTube so I can share it? I was like, no. But she was like nudging me to start the YouTube channel, and then I did. And then I think 2020, 21, 22, when there was like chaos in the world, that was kind of like the perfect time for me to. And I do everything in Danish. So many people in Denmark who was like wondering what is going on out there. I suddenly became the voice who every 2 weeks to every new moon and full moon, I did a new video for free talking about what's going on and making sense of everything that was not to get, it was like many people were frustrated and scared, and that was like my set off. And then I started to get this. I remember walking in the forest with my dog, and I got this, it was kind of like a download. I don't usually use that word, but it was really like a lightning hitting me. It was like, like, whoa. And I saw this inner picture of, hey, you have to take all these people and find some way to connect them in a platform or something. And then I started actually in Patreon
Okay.
I started in Patreon, and I was there, and that was like, it was kind of an ego death for me to start to take money for what I do. It was like, no, because I'm in service. But I had to realize that I was using my energy.
Yeah.
And I was going down. I was kind of getting sick, and I had no money, and I was like giving so much, and it was so difficult for me to admit that I had to find a way to make some kind of exchange of energy. And that was another friend of mine, very dear sister, who was like, you have to do this, because you cannot. She said, it's better that you start taking something than you just kind of disappear because you can't do it anymore and you go down with stress or something.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I created the community in Patreon, and I had a lot of people coming with me who was gladly doing kind of exchange money. And then there was this group who was like, how can you do this? And, spirituality is not something that is, you don't have to charge for it. And Jesus would never have done that. And, all of that came. And I was like, I know, but I cannot keep this work up if I don't get anything back. Yeah. And then I had that community for a while, and it's very exciting when you say the 4-6, because I'm not that much into human design. Yeah. But what I started to feel in the Patreon community was that Patreon is created for artists, so it's kind of like a one-way. They can comment on what I do, but it's not a community. Yeah. So that was when I was like, oh my God, I have to find another way, because this is still not what I wanted. Fine, they're listening to me, but I'm like, it's not just about me, this one, right? Yeah. And then that was a very hard one. That was in 23. Yeah. I decided to close Patreon and move. And I knew that, it was scary, because I cannot control if people come with me, and I could lose everything. It was like, now it was my bread on my table, right? Yeah. But I did it, and I lost a lot of members that and I have a lot of elders actually who are much older than we are. And it was too difficult, the technology and a new platform, But then I moved to Mighty Networks, who have created this platform that are made for community, and now I built this village, and I have others who are coming in to also share their voice, not just me. So we're kind of like building. I see this little village with different houses in the village, where this is where you can listen to Freyiia and her astrology and her crazy mind, and over here you can listen to Maria Emily and her holistic health body, and it's kind of like growing I see it as a mother tree, and all these. And it's always about, for me, a lot of it in there is free. People don't have to pay for it. And then they can go deeper and pay if they want more. Yeah. It's amazing. And it's been a difficult journey. And sometimes, because now a lot of people have seen what I do, and a lot of people want in. Yeah. And I'm just like, I have to feel in my heart the purity, that there's no ego in it, or it's like the village has its own soul, and I'm just like the mother, not, it's not up to me, but I ask, is this the true energy who has to come in now, or what, Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. I love to hear this story, particularly because of that line 4-6. And again, because you are a mental projector, this is part of the reason I wanted to speak to you, because I was so grateful that you found my video and commented, sharing who you were. And then I loved your comment, and then I checked your page and was like, wow, it's so exciting to hear mental projector 4-6, who's doing the work, who's reaching the people, supporting the tribe, using their network, and doing it in a consistent way. Like twice a month is consistent, but with enough space to not burn out, with the mental projector system being, we can't do too much or we go into burnout. And also, I love that story, how you realize that you were giving because you just want to serve, you just want to give, which is part of the mental projector gift. And also your North Node in Virgo is that service, and Pisces, like boundless. Yes, like let's all do this. But there comes a point where you have to prioritize your energetic, your mental, your well-being. And if you are run down and cannot, move, like your friend said, what's the point in that? And that exchange is really what mental projectors are here to find, is how can you give your gifts and be compensated and recognized and supported so that you can just be you.
Yeah.
Showing the wisdom, the vision to the people, right? So, yeah.
Actually, now that you say it, I just remember that also, I think it was in 2020, maybe, that was the first time I did this. In December month, I did this kind of meditation journey every morning for like a lot of days. And in no time, and that's always, maybe that's because I'm a projector, I don't know, but it doesn't matter what it is that I do, but I don't have to do it for very long. And a lot of people find it's like my energy is on and people just find me. And now I have these huge free meditations every new moon and every full moon. I still do that. I have 500 to 800 people live with me at 7 a.m. every time. It's a movement. And the first time I did this meditation journey, I was very courageous, and I was like, you can give me a donation if you feel like it, and and that was the first time, in that month, I received, like, in Danish kroner, 50,000 kroner. I was like, I was mind blown, because that was the first time that the universe showed me, hey, I want to pay you. And I was like, oh, I cannot take this. It was so scary to me that people wanted to send money to me, and still people donate. I don't even know why or for what, but they are so grateful, so they have to send something to me. And I was like, okay. Then, I said,
that is so beautiful. And that is really that's the ultimate way that you want to be in the world. Like, literally, you're doing what you're meant to do, and people are supporting and sharing and wanting to support you so that you can be you. Exactly. So it's like, that's giving you the success, like the projector success, so that you can just be who you are. And bring those gifts to the world. Because, like, as mental projectors, and this is part of the reason why I want to start doing this series right now, because I want to support mental projector empowerment. And so I recognize, like, even in your story, there's like this low self-worth of like, oh, if I shine my gift, they want to pay me. It's like such a challenge for us to get over this, because it's such a pure desire to serve. I really recognize that with all the mental projectors I come into contact with. And I really recognize that all the mental projectors I know are all healers. They're all healers. They bring some kind of medicine in the presence when they are connected. So that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're bringing the medicine.
But to me, and that maybe you can tell me, that's because I have this sixer line. I cannot imagine how it is not to be me, of course. But I think what makes the energy so strong in my field is that I am completely honest and transparent. I share myself, I share my wounds, I share my shame, I share it with all these people. And in the beginning, when I did it, oh my God, I knew I had to do it. And then when I got it out, and then afterwards, I could like have so much stomach ache for it 24 hours and be nauseous, like, oh my God, now they're going to kill me, or, you know, burn me at the stake, or that witch wound. It is so fucking strong, excuse me, but I have been forced to go through that so many times, where I have this inner knowing that I have to do this. But the price in my own system every time. And in the beginning, I was like, is this even healthy? Is this a sign that I shouldn't do it? Or is it actually because I am doing it and I'm supposed to do it that I am healing? And now I know, because I've done it for so long. But in the beginning, that was so tough, because I doubted, is this even good? Is it true? Is it right? Does it have to feel like this? But it was like I was dying every time. I was like, oh, and the shame from my ego came, just, oh my God, you didn't do that. You didn't expose yourself like that. You didn't share that. But every time the response I get from outside is like, thank you, give us more. It's like, okay, so it must be good, right? And that is that is the hardest part of it. That is that long, consistent journey where I've been keeping doing it, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing in this, like, there's many things I'm hearing. I totally resonate with that as well for myself. But what I'm hearing is, you know, in the 6th line, for the first 30 years of your life, you're living your life as a line 3, which is trial and error. So you have to try and fail a lot. And what the biggest emotion attached to that is shame. Like, also a shame of failure, of a shame of, oh, I don't know, I'm just trying, maybe I'm going to screw it up. And then the incredible path for the 6th line is that you take all that deep wisdom and then you go, they call it on the roof, because you're officially on the roof right now until you reach 51, when you will start to just be an embodied, you're already embodying your wisdom, right? But so between 30 and 51, you're on the path to observing the world and embodying completely the wisdom, like walking your talk. So when you do that, people are just drawn to that. And it's like, they want that. They want that authenticity and that failure, you know, like sharing the, like, I am wounded too. Like, I am the same as you. And so I'm hearing that also the witch wound that goes back, like, past lives, that goes back to perhaps even childhood of, you know, mental projectors. We want to tell people what we see, how they can improve their life. But if they don't want to hear it, we get a lot of rejection. So there's also that fear of, like, totally being rejected or dismissed, or like shame and like, maybe what I say isn't valuable, maybe it's dumb, maybe, you know. So now that you speak about the voice, so can you talk a little bit about, like, how was that? Because I know this is a huge problem for mental projectors. You have a defined throat, which means that when you are, you know, in your alignment, we could say, you're able to speak when you need to, using who you are, expressing, communicate, and when the energy is right, you can manifest. But you can also live in the sort of not self, the outside of the healthy throat expression, which would be speaking too much or speaking at the wrong times, or, you know, so. But because you have your defined throat, once you figure out when the right time is, where is the right place, who are the right people, like where, that's when you can communicate, like, effortlessly, you know, bringing out your wisdom. So what was your relationship with your vocal expression? Because I can tell you speak eloquently, even in English. It's not your first language, but, you know, you speak eloquently. So what was that journey?
I'm actually very happy you say that, because it's still, I still don't believe that I can do it in English. But now you invited me, it's like, oh my God, okay, I have to do it. Yeah, well, it's exciting because when I was a child, I did not speak.
Wow.
When I was a child, of course I spoke, but I was very shy and very like, in school, if it was my turn to speak, I was like getting all red and the fire was, I was so shy. And I remember, hiding behind my daddy's leg when some people, I didn't know, I think I had this fear that if I cannot figure out what they're going to say and how I should respond, I don't want to be in that situation because I'm not in control. And I was like so sure that that I would, make a fool of myself or something. I think again that's the witch wound, but
Yeah.
Actually it was first. I think we have to then when exciting you say 30 because that was when I know Saturn return in astrology, but that was when I started my educational journey like a life coach, blah, blah, blah. I started there to go that way. And I remember I was also afraid to speak at that time. And then when after my father died and I went to Bali the first time, I had a calling to go there and do shamanic yoga and shamanic breathwork, and that I had to speak English, and I was like, I didn't speak to those people for almost 2 weeks until the end. I was like, and then when I finally did it, they were like, wow, you have some very exciting thing to say. Why haven't you said anything for these 2 weeks? Now we're almost done. So something happened right there where I was like, oh, I couldn't, I have so much resistance in my system always. And then it's so exciting because then I started speaking about astrology and what I know spiritually.
Yeah.
But then there's just the next level. Then, okay, now you have to do it in English. Okay. And now it is happening again because this year, I cannot hold it in anymore, but light language is coming out now. And in the beginning I was like, no, I'm not a kind of person who does something. It's too weird, but it's when I look back at it, when something is ready to come out my throat, my voice, I cannot resist it. And I can have an inner fight so strong because I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. But I know that I don't have a choice. And, I have Pluto on my ascendant. So it's kind of like a life theme that I have resistance and it is a tough birth and then it happens. So now that's the new thing in my community and the people who follow me, that when I facilitate and when I guide these deep meditations, light language starts to come out. And when I understood gene keys also, where I saw that I have this gene, I don't remember the number of it, but it is called light language. And I understood that it's I think it's a couple of years ago, I was in a deep ceremony, and that was before I did it. I got this understanding that because I speak light language, also when I just speak in words, it's actually, it doesn't matter what I say because people will always hear what they need to hear. And when I understood that, I was like, oh, I was kind of like off the hook. So if I don't have to be perfect in what I say, I can just say whatever. I could talk about the weather and still people would like hear something really profound. I was like, okay. So
wow, that
was kind of like, when I understood that, it was kind of like I was my ego was kind of like set back because I understood that I don't have to be good or perfect or say the right thing. I can just chitter chatter and people will hear the wisdom.
Yes.
And I actually, and now I get it. It's true, because when I do my astrology updates and people like get back to me, someone says, oh, you said that. And another person is like, no, she said that. And I was like, they don't hear the same thing.
Wow.
That's like, okay, that's kind of like proving that it is true.
Wow.
They hear what they need to hear, and it actually doesn't matter what I say.
That is so fascinating. Like, because you're just transmitting, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna look at your chart here for a second.
Mhm.
So yeah, you have on your head center, you have all three of the gates of your head center. So that's sort of the bridge to the divine, right? So you're getting from all ways, like the abstract, the logical, and the mysteries coming through, and then it's processing through your abstract channel, okay, which is actually, the sun is right now, like, you know, in Virgo, opposite the earth is in Pisces. And so right this moment, we have those two gates activated that you live with, the
Wow.
abstract channel. So that's the energy of today, actually, in like the global sphere, is the one that you have. And I have that one as well, the abstract channel. And then it's coming down through your mind, and then it's going into your throat so that you can speak it out. And when I look at, you are on the right angle cross of Maya. Okay.
Mhm.
So do you know about this? About the,
I know, but I'm not into the meaning of it.
okay. So this, you would understand, it's the four angles of the astrology, right?
Mhm.
So you would have your Aries sun opposite the Libra earth. And then the other two cardinals are Cancer, Capricorn, right?
Mhm.
So that would be those four energies. And those four energies are working through different parts of your human design. Okay. So your sun is in the gate 42. And this is all about growth and transformation and like needing to, you know, move through something to mutate into something else. Like, and this would also,
Is that the top one in Gene Keys?
yeah.
Because
yeah.
I actually saw that in some text Richard Rudd did, he called it inner truth. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
are you kidding me?
Oh, you know what you do. So the other one, the 61 is also the gate of inner truth.
Yeah.
So you have inner truth in your human design Gene Keys, like, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, and then, oh, wait. Yes. In your, yeah. Okay. It is literally in your incarnation cross is the gate of inner truth. Yes.
Mm.
Because it's your gate 42 is your Aries sun. Okay. The gate of like growth and transformation. Yeah, so 42 opposite 32. 32 is the gate of endurance. This is intuitive adaptability.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what you do, right? And then embodying your inner truth and the mysteries of the universe, gate 61. And then the precision of vocal communication of all of this comes through to express through your throat.
Yeah.
So this is what you do. Like, this is part of your incarnation cross. Part of why you're here is all of that juicy stuff.
Yeah, and you know, I remember back in 2009, I had this office job and I was dying, but I was very good at it. And then I was doing my first education as a life coach. And I just got, I remember sitting there at that desk and I got this inner voice saying, you have to buy the domain called Inner Truth in Danish. And I was like, Inner Truth? You cannot call a business Inner Truth. And that's a weird address, you know? And I was like, oh. Yeah. But then I did it. I just went in and I saw that it was free. And I just, okay, wow, it's not expensive to have a domain, you know? So I just bought it. And it took years for me to actually start using it. And now my business, my name, you know, people in Denmark know, so thousands of people know what Inner Truth, that's like my name, that's me, it's become a movement now. So wow. It's just interesting when you see it like that in my chart, and that's, you know, so to me it's also a confirmation that I really do what I came here to do, that name is
Yeah, and even deeper, when we look at your chart, this gate of inner truth is your unconscious sun.
Mm-hmm.
So if you imagine, like in an astrology term, so in the human design, we have two charts, right? We have one that's conscious, the one we're born, the natal chart, and then you have 88 days before,
Yeah.
is when the soul incarnates into the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And so that astrology, your unconscious sun is that gate of inner truth. So it's
Yeah.
like an inner sacred fire burning inside of you that's even, I mean, you're conscious of it, but it had to birth, it had to come out.
Yeah, and you know what did that?
Tell me.
I'm not here to do any you know, people will have to do what they will have to do, but what did it for me was plant medicine.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Talk to me about plant medicine.
I have to be honest about that, because I know, and that was also in 2019 or 2020, that was exactly at that time when I kind of popped out for the first time for real, and that was definitely because of plant medicine.
Yes.
I wouldn't be here if not. I know that.
Yeah. So that was sort of an access to the deeper truth, to the cosmos, to like your connection.
Yes, but it didn't feel like that at the moment. It felt like a cruel death of my ego. Like really, really cruel, tough. Some people would call it what do you call it, bad trips, I think people, but I understand nothing is bad trips in my world. It's just, you know, you're just meeting yourself and you're resistant, right? But I had some really rough experiences just after my father died, and I was like, I was broken in atoms. It was like,
wow.
And that was when definitely that period. I don't do it very much anymore because I have very, very, very high, how do you say that? I have respect for what integration is, and a lot of people don't have that. So I can be in a journey, I can have some profound understanding, and it can take me like 1 or 1.5 years to integrate that. Wow. And not just, you know, do it again and again. And and that it's kind of like when, okay, I didn't see that we should have this talk, but now let's go with it.
Nice.
When I started, to me, it's been mushrooms. And when I started to like kind of know them, and it's, you know, it sounds like it's maybe 7 times in all the timing, but if I should kind of describe it, it feels like when I go into that space, I get pulled out of my defined matrix.
Yeah.
I get pulled out of it, and that's tough. It's. I remember a voice saying like, "Come on, you're like hanging in there." What are they called? Those ticks, those little animals. It was like a voice was like, "You're hanging in there like a tick. Get out." It's like I'm so attached to my reality, to my stories, to my, you know. So when that's what they help me with. It's not very physical. It's kind of like my mind have to be detached from everything that I'm so attached to, and when I do that, it's like, what do you call, you know, when kids are playing with that that you can form to a new, you know, you can like form whatever you want. That's how it feels. It feels like life itself. I can model it. I can remodel my physical reality when I'm out in that space, and then I can say, okay, I'm ready to go back in, and I'm back in. I've set some new goals, or so I think that if I've never been there, I would still be in my illusion so strongly. So does it make sense? It's like,
it totally makes sense. It's like you have to really destroy what you think is the borders. Like you think it only goes to here, and it's like, And you know what, when you were speaking, I was thinking about the Scorpio moon thing, which I also have, which is like holding on to this thing. So, so I hear you on the needing to let go. And also in, mental projectors, you have the top 3 centers defined. So your inspiration and your mind, they're always working. It's always coming through you. So it's like the mind can be like constantly running over programs if you decide to stick to one sort of viewpoint and don't see beyond it. It needs to be like brought completely out of the comfort zone.
Yes.
Which is the shadow work is like, what else is there? Oh, I'm holding on to this thing that is just a border when there are no borders.
Yeah.
And
whenever I sit down to channel one of these huge meditations for all these people, I always have this prayer. Like I ask that the highest light of the universe can run through me, and I set myself aside. I always say I put myself aside and everything that is mine, and I am in service and just a channel for something to move through me. And when I'm in it, when I'm in it and I'm deep and I'm guiding, I can hear my own voice, but it's like I'm here and I can be like, oh wow, did I just say that? Or where did that? I can be like listening to it while I'm speaking it, and I can be so surprised, like, oh wow, where did that come from? And then in the beginning, when the light language suddenly was like rising, no.
Trying to resist.
Trying to came out, like, oh fuck, now they all are like stoning me to death or something, right? So I can have this personal lower part of me, like being the comment whatever is happening, but I have learned now to hold myself there and stay there, no matter how much anxiety rising. I keep going. I'm doing it. But it's not easy. And sometimes I'm sweating like crazy, and I'm just, okay, the fire is rising. I keep going. I'm doing it. I hold it.
Yeah. So that makes me think, like, with your your crown is connected all 3 of the gates, meaning like you are literally plugged into the universe and it's coming through you in the way that your sacred geometry is programmed to have it come through you to deliver the message and the inspiration and the whatever the people need, right? It really is in service. When someone has it totally open, they're open to all types of ways of information coming through, but you have a specific geometry that comes through you and you alone. So that sounds like that's what the people need from you, it's your geometry.
As a private person, it can also be difficult, because in my private relationships, I have often heard that I'm stubborn, or that I don't want to listen to other way. But it's like, I do, but I can't. It's so strong inner. I want to listen to you and your life and your story, but if you start to tell me how I should do things, like, I'm sorry, but
you have this in your chart. Like, you are not able to listen to someone if it doesn't make sense for you, or mental projectors. We're not here to be told what to do, because we have to find our own way to our own answer. And what you have is feeling is your deepest cognition sense, like deep feeling. So it's like you have to feel what's right for you. And that's what can be a challenge for us in personal relationships, where we need to communicate to hear our own voice, so that we understand what we actually feel, which is very weird for other people, right?
Sounds boring, I know.
So speaking of that, let's find out a bit. How did you find out about human design? And like, I know you're not that deep into it, but you understand you're a mental projector, meaning you are one of us 3% in the world.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember how long ago, but I think it's been like a stream of energy in the spiritual communities for so long that if you go with astrology, oh, we also have human design, we have gene keys, so you check yourself out,
Yeah.
And I've known for many years that I was a mental projector, but it's not up until very recently that it kind of like came in from so many angles. Like now my guides or the universe is like, hey, you have to understand what this is. Now you have to use it. So it's like, oh, okay. And I have a very dear friend who are also doing readings in human design, and she's done mine like many years ago. But she's not a mental projector herself.
Yeah.
And I think that was the difference when I heard your video the first time. I was like, wow, I can feel, because I am who I am, that you resonate, instead of all these very, very skilled human design readers. But if they are not there themselves, it's like, I can hear what you say, but I can't feel it, you can't feel me.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing I learned about my type was you have to wait for the invitation. And that was like, oh, because I really needed to learn that at that time, because when I was younger, I could see so much and I just wanted to help people. And I told them and they were like, I didn't ask you for your opinion. Oh my Lord. I really got a lot of struggle out of that one. So that was the first thing I learned about my design, that, hey, you cannot tell people what you see if you are not invited. That was a big gift. And I've used many years to integrate that one. Not always, but I'm doing better, I think.
Yeah. You're also an Aries sun, so like,
and my Mars is in Aries, right?
Oh yeah.
So yes, but I think the latest gift now that was so important for me to understand is that whenever I struggle physically with my health. And because I grew up in a family where my mother has been chronically ill my whole life. So I think I had a story running that it had nothing to do with my design, but it was because that I was, hooked up into that story. And now my mother died 6 months ago, and I've been like, my body has been yelling at me for so long. It's like, what is it? And I have been like trying to do my shadow work with my lineage and my mother and my trauma and my da. But it was like, hey, it's not that. So I it was like the missing link. And then when I heard your video and you spoke about, the body being, and that, I think that was kind of like when I got it, it was like, okay, you are because I have no inner authority. I have never understood what that meant, but when I listened to you, I got it. It was like, oh my God, my environment, my relationships, like you said in that video, the table at the restaurant. It's like, I know that. So suddenly I got it. It was like, oh my God, there's nothing wrong with my body, but it is an super sensitive instrument. And now I have been, it was in 21, I moved into a house, like in a community with some other people in houses, and I got so sick.
Yeah.
And I never got it up until now. Oh my God, that was why. And suddenly I could see all the dots from my sick mother and my childhood and my upbringing and all those, relationships. And oh my God, it's because, now I get it. So I just been liberated for a very deep understanding that it is me and my body that's something wrong with. It's like, oh my God, no. It's because that's what it means. That I'm a mental projector and I have no inner authority. So my environment is my authority.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. That was like, you brought it into my field. It's like,
Wow.
oh my God, now I get it. And
Wow.
then when I understand that, it's like this inner warrior is rising, like, okay, then I have to clean up the mess. What is it that is, not good for me? And I got this image of a fish in like a little pond. And if the water is dirty, then the fish can try and heal and heal and heal and heal, but it have to get out of the dirty water, right? So I was like, oh my God, I have dirty water in my life. What is it?
Clean up the fish tank. Emergency.
Exactly. So that's kind of like a breakthrough for me, like crazy right now. That because I have forever been highly sensitive, and I have been struggling and hitting myself in the head for so many years about, also in all the spiritual understanding, you have to learn how to clothe, and you have to learn how to, I know that, but it's something different with me. I know how to protect my energy and call myself back, and but it's still not enough. If I'm in the wrong environment, then I have to move.
Yeah. Wow, that is so powerful. I'm so happy to hear that, because that's a game changer, really.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's so liberating. I know how you feel, because when I found out, I realized like all the situations I'd been in that I was the problem, when it was like, no, it was everyone else. Yeah. But I just didn't know, because I wanted, and that's that thing about us, is like, even if we want things to work, we can't force how we feel, like how we feel well. So
no.
Yeah.
And also, actually, I was just reflecting before our talk, where I was like, it's very interesting, because when I hold these huge containers, if I like facilitate a retreat over the summer, and we have like almost 30 people in the container, and we are there for 3-4 days, and I'm just on, and I'm facilitating breathwork and ceremony, blah, 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 I'm fine. Yeah. And then if someone invites me to a social thing with the same amount of people, but no one is holding the space, and I'm not the one, in any position to, do anything, I'm just there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I don't want to say a freak, but I don't do very many social things, and I don't do parties, and I don't drink alcohol, and I don't, because I have learned for a long time ago that I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I actually get so drained and so tired, and I have in periods like not just ringing, but like tinnitus. It's like I get, hey, get the fuck out of here. It's not. And I want to be there for those people I care about and say, of course I'm coming, but I really have to compromise myself if I do it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting better and better to say, I love you, I'm sorry, but it's not in my own highest interest to come to your party, because I get sick of it.
Yeah. So the thing is, when we're in a group of people as a mental projector, if we are the one guiding, because we're being recognized and invited to share our wisdom, we're like amazing, like, because we're getting the energy that we need. There's an exchange. They're giving us the energy and we're giving. So it's like a harmonious. But if we're going into just a social situation, literally mental projectors end up fading into the side and just starting to basically disintegrate, unless someone's coming to us and having like a one-on-one that really works. But even if we're in a group and someone's like hosting something, we just start to get overwhelmed, because it's too much, because we're feeling everything.
Yeah. I remember when I was younger, I was like going back and forth to the toilet because I didn't know what to do with myself. So like, okay, I can go to the toilet again, because, and I remember that was when I was sitting out there alone in my, behind my door, like, okay,
Yeah.
go out there again. Who should I talk to? And I was not very good at initiating a conversation, that go to someone and say, hi, nice to meet you. I was like, oh my God. So I just waited, for the invitation for someone to talk to, or it was a nightmare. I never did.
Well, now like now if you go anywhere and you don't feel good, it's like not the right place.
Yeah.
Which means it's not the right people,
No.
unfortunately, right? And even it could be the right person one-on-one in a cafe, but not in that place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very weird. Very weird.
But it's so liberating and so comforting to be recognized, like, okay, I'm not the only one, and it's not me who are completely lost.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, and I can feel right now when we talk about it, so many mental projectors who are going to watch this conversation, and they are like, oh my God, that's why,
Yeah. Yeah. This is why I feel really passionate about like empowering us, because basically when I was learning about myself, it's been 6 years now. When I was learning about myself, first of all, it was just, what? Oh my God, this thing that I kind of knew my whole life, but I didn't have that information. But all of a sudden it was like, I needed to find out information. There was such little information online. Yeah. So I was like seeking and seeking. And so with more experience and time, I was asked to start speaking about it, because that's part of my gift as well, is speaking. And now I feel like it's our time. It's our time to like rise. I mean, you are already like living your design, as we see, like doing what you are meant to do, following, feeling, knowing. But even still, our design is very hard to navigate. And like the physical thing, it's real. Like we have to monitor our body in a way that other people don't have to. We have to take more time out, rest. So it's so empowering and life-changing, this information,
It is. And the last, I don't know, year or something, I've been very in tune, like completely intuitive. It's not been something I was thinking about, but it just, every night when I go to sleep, I'm like calling myself back. I'm calling my energy home. I say out loud, it's only me who are allowed to be in my body right now. And, and when I go into the ocean, or it's like, okay, it's like constantly, I have to pull other people's energies out of my system and declare, I'm the only one. I'm the one defining myself right now. No one is welcome in my system. And, for all my life, I had this, maybe we could just touch on that too, but I have never been able to sleep together with people. And, when I was a young single mother, it was like, what is wrong with me? But just my own child have learned, I have to, and my partner's different boyfriends, but it's like, friends, my best girlfriends, I can't, if someone is in my field and I have to sleep, it's like, I have to use so much energy. To not, be in them or them and me, and I get it. It's been a long road to get it,
What's fascinating is like, obviously you've been on the spiritual journey forever. You've been on the healing journey forever. You came in already a healer, like with your mom, but like, just to get this information, it like puts so much more empowerment in understanding why I so weird, and that sleeping thing, it's so fascinating, because exactly the same, whenever I would have like a new partner, I'd just be wide awake the whole night, like and like, I hope one day I'll be able to sleep, because they were always generator types. And interestingly, I had a boyfriend who was a reflector, who had no sacral as well, because it's really the sacral that conditions us to like,
Okay, interesting.
So the generators and the manifesting generators would really like, enhance our system, so would be harder to sleep. But when I slept with the reflector, I slept like a baby, and it was like the first boyfriend, and I was shocked, and I didn't know why until afterwards, right?
Okay, wow.
So yeah,
That's
it's
interesting.
yeah.
And it's only like the sacral, it's not any of the other centers?
Yeah, it can be the other centers too, like the root. The root is stress and pressure. So for example, if your partner or your best friend has like a stress and a pressure in their system, that's gonna like jack your nervous system. And then if the person's emotional center, if they're like in their sleep processing stuff, then we're like feeling their emotions. So yeah, we could be feeling like
Wow.
from the other centers, but the sacral is like the one that really, like, because we don't know when enough is enough, we're just like, so even we're supposed to be sleeping, we're supposed to be sleeping, but we're still awake, like enough's enough, we need to sleep, so yeah. So any of the other centers could also be causing us disturbance, but like the sacral, the root would be the two big ones, I think. And then
it explains so much more than I want to share right now, but like, oh my God, it makes sense now.
Yeah. It's fascinating, truly.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me right now is really to get to that point where I can embrace myself and my sensitivity with a new understanding of it's okay. I'm okay. It's okay. And yes, I am a bit, there's a lot of things in this world that I don't feel I can join because I'm simply too sensitive. And that's also okay when I surrender to it and say, okay, that's the cards I have in my hand. It's like, that's my life. That's what I came here for. Apparently.
Apparently. Yeah. I think we're going to start to wrap up today's conversation, which I loved, actually. But I just want to touch on astrology a tiny bit because you're an astrologer as well. So what I just would love to touch upon is about the nodes of the moon, being that you and I are both having our nodal opposition.
Yeah.
So right now the North Node is in Pisces in the transit and the South in Virgo, but both you and I natally have North Node Virgo, South Node Pisces. So I know personally it's been whoa. So and how are you, like, how is this transit, how is the nodal opposition for you feeling, or what are your thoughts?
Personally, to me, I could talk like not about me myself, but to me personally, it feels like, once I got this picture, and I love that way to say it, it's kind of like when the nodal axis is coming home for all of us, the one way or the other. It's kind of like that our higher self can zip up the sky and reach down and take, our head right here down in our little, and move you in the right direction and say, hey, my friend, now you have been going around in these circles for too long and it is still not serving you. When do you get it? And then it's like our karmic reset where our higher self can say, enough is enough. Now you have to go that way. So life is like showing you so clearly what is not serving you anymore. And if we struggle it and we fight it, it is a hell of a ride. But if we surrender to it and say, okay, wow, the signs right now are so clear. I cannot run from this. I cannot hide anymore. I cannot, what we have seen, we cannot make unseen. It's like, and then the ego have to surrender, and it's tough. To me right now, actually, I was back looking what happened in 2016. when they were hitting our nodes the right way. And that was exactly when I ended a 7-year long relationship that was pretty toxic at that time.
Yeah.
That was a big game changer for me in my life. And at the same time, actually at that time, I suddenly became vegan and everything was like, and I'm not anymore, but that was kind of like a journey starting at that time. And now this time, the nodal, that when this year started, I had no idea I was about to lose my mom. Now I'm here. My mom is gone. Her house, that was like kind of my mom's and my dad's house, is just yesterday we just signed and it is getting sold now. So me and my brother have to go empty that house from our lifetime. Their stuff, their personal stuff, pictures from when we were children. It is like the biggest ending that is setting me free from my pretty tough story. I've used my entire life to dive deep into my mother and our karma and her illness, blah 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 blah. It is over.
Wow.
And I don't get it. It's like, but then what? I've lived my whole life to care for my mother. Then what?
Wow.
Then now what? And I know that I have a book to write. I've known that my whole life, and I've danced around it now with a huge resistance for years. And now it's like the universe is stripping me from everything else that could take my time and say, hey, sister, now you go sit and write, because it is now. And I know what I have to write is my life story. It's kind of the ending of it, to share it with the world. Again, my type, right?
Yeah.
And then I got it, because I do all this shamanic breathwork, and I got a new calling that I have, because I'm in the process of becoming the first satellite in the North, or in Europe actually, to teach the first part of shamanic breathwork called SHIP.
Okay.
And that's very deep process, 14 days, where you go through your own shamanic healing initiating process, right? And to get to the last step of that, I have to go deep into it again myself, my own healing. And I have now the only option to go to Bali in November, precisely 6 months after my mother died, when the nodal axis is clicking, and I will be there in the container going deep, and everything is ending around me.
That is just,
it is crazy, and I have no idea what's going. I feel right now that my whole life is like, I really feel that higher self, okay, Freyiia, now it's time. And it's like the destiny wheel just, okay.
wow.
So that's what I think the nodal axis does to us, if we catch it and we surrender to it, right?
Yeah, beautifully said. And also, I can't help but, see the 6 months before your mother dying was like the last eclipse cycle. So it's basically like, so this is why I love astrology, because it's just, you can't invent this like storyline. Timing is just like, the perfection is just like, even though it's challenging and like painful and like, but yeah, I love the way you say that. I also think it's so funny, because I love the energy of eclipses. Like, I love eclipse energy because it's very Scorpio, it's very like Scorpio moon, like, oh yeah, transformation and shadow. But I always have to laugh at myself every time when I'm like, oh, I love this deep, dark, work, because it's so cathartic and liberating, right? But then when it actually happens, it's like, oh my God. So I'm basically in that sort of deconstruction of like an old way of limiting myself from like showing up and self-sabotaging every time there's success. And like, okay, yeah, basically, I'll just tell you briefly, my pattern, Pisces, is like, it's all going well. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's not working. I'll just abdicate. I'll just give up and just like go into my hole and not do my service to the world, which is no, you're going to show up. You're going to do the work. You're going to put yourself out there, even though it, like, you know, it's uncomfortable.
It is.
But it has to be done. And none of this Pisces hiding away in escapist cloud.
No, but I know it. I think when I look back at my journey all the way to where I'm now, I think the most clever thing I ever did was to commit to follow the moon cycle, because then I cannot say I'm, you know, I have committed so deeply, and I've done it now for 5 years. There's not even one new moon as a full moon that I didn't show up. And you know, when I remember when I have also done these December journeys every year, and I remember mornings like being so tired and, you know, sticking my head into the toilet, and 2 minutes after, good morning, you know, because I just fucking show up. No matter, and sometimes it's too much. I have to learn, but that is kind of like the projector. I committed to this. I'm doing it, but I'm not hiding how I'm doing in it. I'm doing it, but I'm transparent and honest when I do it. Yeah. So people really feel they know me if they follow close in my inner circle. They know what I'm going through, and they know my ups and downs, and they find it so inspiring that I'm so honest about it.
Wow, I love to hear that, because like, yeah, for me, that would be really hard to commit to that often. And, you know, I have committed to a certain like once a week thing for a video when I started, but like that is like,
but you also have to feel the energy is true in it. We cannot force it just because we have to commit to something. It has to be true.
No, I totally hear you. Yeah, absolutely. But that's like inspiring too, I think, for other like mental projectors, like especially given your line like 4-6, like you're about your network, like it's about supporting your people. And then it's also like you need to walk your talk and like show, you know, the embodiment work you've done with yourself. And the fact that you're showing up and being like, today I am dead tired, but I'm here. Exactly. It's like, it's beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love to hear that. I think we're going to wrap up for today so we can give both of us rest after.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me, Freyiia. Do you want to? I know that this is in English, but if you want to share right now, I'll put it in the links below, of course. But do you want to share how people reach you, particularly if they're in Denmark or if they're Danish, or do you have other? In Bali, you're going to Bali, or no, that's for you personally.
That's my own deep process. Yeah, I think that if people, I think it's only a matter of time before I have to like also do an English version of my page, you know, and it's I kind of know it's in front of me, and I think that when I get to write my book, it will be translated, and that will be the door to the world, and not just my little safe container in Denmark. So I think if someone want to follow me, it is because the village, that's only in Danish, so it wouldn't make sense to go there if you're not Danish. But you read my website, you can translate it with Google Translate, right? And in Facebook, I have a page called Indre Sandhed, Inner Truth in Denmark, and you know, I have people following along also in my Instagram who are not. Sometimes I write in English in my Instagram, in my stories, and that's it's just whatever mood I'm in, I think.
Yeah.
So the social media is, I think that's the best way to follow along. And when something happens, when I get outside my little Danish box, I think it will be there. You will see it, that I'm coming out.
Yeah. Okay, good. So perfect. So thank you so much for this
You.
beautiful meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, so exciting. And thank you for, going with your little call and inviting me. And now I got a little challenge to do it in English and say, okay, it's fine. I can do it. It's also just a little step, right?
I'm going to call this podcast The Secret Life of Mental Projectors.
Oh, wow. I love it.
You're my first interview, so I'm really happy about this.
Yeah, great.
So yeah. So
Love that you're doing it and that our little contact, suddenly became to a new stream of energy, and that's beautiful. Go with it.
yeah, that's one thing I want to do more and be more consistent as much as I can. And also like share more our stories, you know. Like this is what I loved when you wrote me and you're like, oh yeah, I'm living my design. And I checked and I was like, yes, mental projector who's like public, in the public, doing the YouTube, doing the thing. It's in Danish. I can't quite understand it, but I see her doing the thing, so it's like, that's what I want to show. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Such an honor to be your first and to birth it. That's exciting. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing. Put that notification on so you can get the next episode.